Easter 2022. Light incense, agarwood, black lace lingerie, silk kimono. Paint nails at the piano bench while listening to Ovos Ohms. Get a latte. First meal is vanilla shortbread. Walk along the path of the Stations of the Cross. Purchase small vial of jasmine perfume. Make love 4 times under the pink full moon, then champagne and dark chocolate. Rare books to collect. Under a Glass Bell, first edition, Anais Nin. Artists and Prostitutes, limited edition of 2,500, David LaChapelle. Versacrum, 1898 through 1903, U.S. edition, 1977, Rizzoli. House of Incest, first edition, Anais Nin. May 2nd, 2022. Went for a walk. Didn't have my phone all day. No one could know where I was. I was very surprised and romanced by the sight of a small spider spinning its web. The first time I've ever witnessed this in nature. Discovered through his documentary, The Ballad of Reading Gaol, Oscar Wilde's last poem before his death. May 29th, 2022. Mama Borthwick is buried in a little graveyard next to Unity Chapel in Spring Green. She's also buried in Los Angeles. The pre-Columbian homes designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. My favorite of the textile block homes being the Harriet and Samuel Freeman House, which overlooks the famous Highland Avenue. Even in its deteriorating condition, my dream is to live out my dying years in this home, in a home that exudes an aura of loss and love, in a burning city filled with falling and rising stars. The light and space movement of the 1960s informing, inspiring, or supporting the sensualist philosophy. Simple, cheap, and aesthetic meals. Rice, jasmine or sumeshi, chipped almonds or pecans, dark chocolate or blackberries, ripped portion of French baguette with salted oil or butter, orange or grapefruit, canned tuna with lemon juice and pepper, cherry tomatoes, cashews, angel hair pasta with oil, lemon, salt, and mild cheese of choosing, hard-boiled egg with horseradish sauce. Note: food is almost always eaten separately and in order. June 20th, 2022. Free holiday parking in the city. Got my library card and checked out 7 books, ones I've desired to read for months. Anais Nin and Henry Miller's letters, Oscar Wilde's biographies, Nightwood, a book about lesbians in decadent Paris, Vienna, and Berlin, Among the Bohemians. I am so whole, raised on endorphins. I can't eat. Knowledge and beauty sustain me longer than food. June 22nd, 2022. I have found great disillusionment when seeing a lover or good friend amidst a crowd. Anxiety uproars within me. I like to keep them to myself, where they can be honest, vulnerable, sure of themselves. I too hate my reliance on the crowd, my unquenchable thirst for some euphoric hysteria brought on by drink, drug, and the illustrious transformation of ordinary spaces. Expectations ruin me, yet I live for serendipity. I feel like a poker player, a gambler losing chips and worth, betting on the wrong suit. I want a lover, a friend to myself. I hope to be restrained to the protective wombs of me and those who provide me company. Only two, a pair. I've always loved the number 2, shaped like a swan, a Floridian magenta, a swimming pool painted blue. 2 in bliss, against the world, aside from it, really, unbothered, untethered, drinking a Bloody Maria, playing cards, talking about love or nothing of importance at all. People act differently when the bodies multiply. Their allegiance shifts from themselves to some obscure society in hopes of some monetary or momentary celebrity. Or else they make fools of themselves with artifice. Look at them with tired eyes, I do. I'm exhausted by their performance, regardless if it stems from need or incoherence. Stay with me. Let us be cooped up together as 2 birds. Let us groom our feathers and fly aimlessly over pockets of dense air. We'll float paper lanterns on the motel pool at midnight and forego speaking altogether. Let's rest and feel known to each other. Let silence be the decoration of the content. We don't need them, their drugs, their hierarchy, their eagerness. It's me and you, darling, no world at all. August 3rd, 2022. Today my apartment became my kingdom. I listened to Animal all morning and tidied up, and then took a nap in the sunlight coming through the window and wrote a poem about it. Took pictures of my naked body in chiaroscuro. My torso belonged in a Bacon painting. I dressed up in Moschino couture silk and Marc Jacobs gold glittery heels. I went to the Grapperia, had Prosecco and margaritas. I love leaving a place because then I remember it in a more poetic way. I only recall happiness. All the pain distills into the delicate rosiness of memory. If there was sadness, it was glossed over, lacquered, gilded, a figurine of alabaster. Reality has so many unsavory details that are discarded by memory's capacity to reduce to the essential. What is left inspires me, leaves me in a pleasant state of longing for worlds I can only access through my imagination. September 14th, 2022. Went to the coffee shop and illuminated an entire page in silver. Met my friend at the Holy Mary store on Main. Bought a book on martyrs, she an illuminated medieval crucifix and a glass vessel used to contain the blood of Christ. I hid my star of Ishtar beneath my blouse. Exhausted, we both took naps and got ready for our reservation at Kalnalma. We took the table tucked in the corner by the stairs. We had backstage sallies and port wine and Silipak, and there was jazz. We spoke to the bassist for a while, and he offered us free tickets to their gig at the August Wilson Center this weekend. We went home, and I read about Francis Bacon before bed. Black patent leather Manolos, Tokyo Kodo agarwood incense, chocolate mousse at Le Gourmandine, unbloomed lilies, raspberry matte MAC lipstick, amber and silver, indigo wool, brass-colored lining, and white fox fur. Serge Lutens De Profundis, chrysanthemum, gladiolus, dahlia, chamomile, peony, woods, hay, violets, incense, and candied fruit. He said, clearly, death is a woman. October 2nd, 2022. Grocery shopping. Fresh lilies, sardines, fig crackers, edamame, nuts and raisins, peanut butter. For dinner, toasted French bread, mashed sardines with soy sauce, peanut butter, sunflower seeds, dark chocolate, fig crackers, and goat cheese with honey. Later on into the early morning, I reconstructed an old tank top with a marvelous Madonna and Child stained glass pattern into a skimpy nightclub dress. December 2022. Chimera, a thing hoped for or wished for, but in fact is illusory or impossible to achieve. Latin, ignis fatuus. Synonyms: illusion, fantasy, delusion, mirage, dream. February 9th, 2023. Caught moonrise at the top of the hill. It resembled a grapefruit, and we watched it through the sunroof of my car. February 22nd, 2023. Created a bustier athleisure top from an old pair of sweatpants. Subtronics at the Roxy-Inn. Revenge is nothing but a confession of pain. Valeria. Dream. A neon-lit drive by the marina. 1970s cars. No time. Only parties. Houseboats. Women writhing in the grass and moans heard over slot machines. Hello everybody, hope this video finds all of you well. I'm certainly not so well in getting over being sick, but I have wanted to show this video for a long time. I have been working on this glorious, glorious piece for over a year and a half now. This is my personal journal, this is my art journal. This is also what I like to call my illuminated manuscript. If you don't know what a manuscript is, it's just a handwritten book. If it is illuminated, that means that it's usually referring to old biblical texts that are illuminated or painted with gold or silver. And I had the aim to do that in this journal because I wanted it to seem holy. It certainly is to me. This journal is from Edo Bindery in Japan. It is in A6 format, which is a beautiful, I don't think I could ever have a journal that isn't this size or this proportion ever again. It is perfect. It fits right in my hand. It fits in pretty much every purse that I have. I fell in love with this as soon as I saw it. I like that it is gridded. I'm a huge fan of the grid. I like the structure of a grid. And the binding is flexible, so you can bend the book 180 degrees. And you don't have to worry about the cover pushing back up against you whenever you're writing in here. But I wanted to show this journal to everybody because I have mentioned it before in another video. It is what I like to call to a sensualist's journal. I am a sensualist. Sensualism is a lifestyle manifesto that I've been working on and continuing to work on. And at the core of it, it is to witness as much beauty as humanly possible in life and to develop habits in your life that allow you to do that. One of the things that I do in order to witness beauty more, to notice it more, would be to journal and to write down the very smallest things that you can overlook in a day. Write it down in here. And that is what this video was about. It was obviously showing you a very personal side because I'm showing you my journal. Of course, I had to cut out certain parts because they're a little bit too intimate for the internet, but I wanted to show everyone the dedication that it took to create such a book. I wanted to show the progression of such a journal, and I wanted to show everybody what it was like to not only just write down your thoughts, but to also to embellish them, to format them, to beautify them, and then to not only just not just write them down, not just to document your thoughts, but also to make them into artwork. Journaling doesn't just have to be about documentation. They can be a work of art, the penmanship, what kind of pictures you include, how you write something can be indicative of your mood of that day. As you can see in here, that there are many different fonts that I've created. I've used 3 or 4 different types of lines, like dark to light, heavy to thin, and they all speak, a different language. They all have personalities. Each page is its own page in here. It's all kind of guests at a cocktail party having a conversation. Too, I think I wanted to show just how you can see a person develop in such a thing. Anything that you create is unintentionally telling something about yourself. Whether it's a piece of artwork or whether or not you're writing down your thoughts, but you can definitely see who I am as a person from this book. And you can see, how my thoughts have changed. You can see how my attitude towards journaling had changed. How my attitude towards lifestyle and like taking the time to actually write down my thoughts changed. It became, as you can see through the video, it became more beautified, more decorative throughout the year and a half. And I thought that was cool. I incorporated more color as I went along, and I was just more considerate of what I wrote down, how I wrote it, and how I wanted it to look. I wanted this not only to be, like I said before, documentation, but I wanted this to visually look good to me. So, like an illuminated manuscript, I took the time and I dedicated myself to every page to take my time and make sure that it looked beautiful and that it was a finished product whenever it was finished. It was a complete thing. Even the last page, I even outlined the back. I even finished the last page. There's not one page left undone here. It's a very complete piece. And there are very few works of art in my life that I feel proud of, but this is definitely one of them. So even if it isn't something I won't hang in a gallery or anything like that, I definitely wanted to show it to all of you because this is probably not your typical journal. This is not generally how people write about their lives. They certainly don't write a letter in every single little square the way that I do in a neurotic way, but that adds to the design of it. It's a designed book, and motifs come out throughout the journal. And you can see how those motifs develop, and the squares and silver and little mosaics and tiled art and certain fonts and stuff, and you can just see the process, and I love that. It's a visual of the process. So I just really wanted to share that with you guys. Not a moment too soon, I made sure to wait and not to rush this because it had to be perfect to show it. So I really wanted to share this with you guys. I was very excited, and I wanted to, of course, overlay some of my entries with my voice because I wanted you guys to focus on the contents too. What I wrote in here is very important. My aim, my development of sensualism, the documentation of everyday life is a huge part of that lifestyle manifesto, documenting the most minuscule things in here. And I wanted to highlight that by talking over the video and talking over the visual of it. But yeah, moving on to number 2, volume 2, nice and crisp. We're gonna ruin her, wabi-sabi her up. Can't wait. That's another thing, you know, the beauty of this, you know, that it's worn, that it's been in 5 different bags, that the pages are frayed and all that. There's such a great, gorgeous beauty to that. And then the new, putting them next to one another. I can't wait for a collection of these one day, to just have a shelf filled with them. That's all I have for you guys this week. This is going to be a long video, for sure. But I hope you guys enjoy it. Comment on this video what you thought of the journal. If you guys have journals yourselves, DM me on Instagram and like show me pictures of like what your journals are, because I don't know if you can do that like in the community post or anything like that, but I would love to see them. I think that journals are very intimate and beautiful, and I'd like to see how like other people do theirs. Yeah, like, share, please subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you guys next week.